Hi, I'm Shannon McGee, strategic business coach and franchise owner with Network in Action and NIAX here in the metropolitan Nashville area. And today I have Rob Broadhead with RB Consulting. Thanks for joining me today, Rob.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me here.
So, my favorite question to kind of start with is to tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, my entrepreneurial journey was sort of started when I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was when I was very young, and I liked having some level of sort of controlling my own schedule. I liked having that freedom and being able to do things that were a little bit different. I was one of those people that in school, the structure sometimes was a little too much. I tended to
Mhm.
get in a little bit of trouble when boredom and things like that, as I would do things that sort of stretch that structure. And I realized very quickly I liked that, and it was something that was going to help me professionally as I went through college and then stepped into my career. And then so it was a something I had in my vision, even as I stepped into my career. Started out with a big six company, or I guess now they're down to about big three or four as they sort of group themselves together. But in doing so, I was able to see the landscape and very quickly realize that, yeah, this is corporate America is not exactly for me, at least not as an employee. I did see a lot of issues and a lot of struggles in a lot of places where people were making essentially decisions that weren't fully informed. And that was really what led me into what became RB Consulting, as I was seeing the push to just do it our way by whatever the vendor was, or to use our tool, as opposed to let's actually understand what you do and what is best for you, as opposed to, if I'm a salesman or a vendor, what's best for me.
Yep. And so this consulting that you do is all technology, right? So fractional CTO and others. So help those that are listening. What does that mean? What is a fractional CTO? And when you talk about tools and specifically you're consulting on technology, help us understand what are some of those things that you help people with?
I think people sometimes get, I think, a little bit intimidated by fractional CTO or CIO, because they're like anything that's got a C in front of it. But people are
Yeah.
like, oh, that's got to be a huge business. That's got to be some, Fortune 500 company. And really, it isn't. It's more like it's really more of a technology consultant, somebody that would be a partner with you and your company. So, whether you have one employee or 1,000, your CTO is really your technology person. The person is going to help you figure out how do we leverage technology for your company. And that's what we do when we come in, is because sometimes it's not, you don't need that person 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year or whatever it is. You don't need to pay the salaries and all that kind of stuff. It's very expensive to have somebody, and not actually the best use of your money, because you don't need them all the time. It's just
Right.
like an accountant. You really need them in the tax season, and then there's periods throughout the year you need them, but you don't need them sitting in an office, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or anything like that. And that's where we come in, is we spend our time when we're not with you, our customer, learning about technology, figuring out what are the newest tools, what are the newest trends, what are the things that are out there. And then my background from business and MBA allows me to take whatever business I'm working with, sit down with you as a customer and talk about, like, what are the specifics? What is your secret sauce? What is the recipe for success your business has? And then how can we take that and all of our technology knowledge and inform that so that we can now find ways to use the latest tools? And sometimes it's updating what you've got. Sometimes it's sort of cleaning your technology drunk drawer out a little bit, where you've been, people get in that, like, that survival mode or that scramble mode. We're like, we just got business, we've got customers, we've got all these things coming at us, and you just solve the problem in the moment.
Yeah.
I come in a lot of times, and the best time to come in is when it's like, okay, time to take a deep breath and figure out, what did we just build? What makes sense for us moving forward? And then even, what is it that we should be looking towards in the future to help our business follow the path that we want it to follow, to get the growth and be able to match our growth and our systems and our procedures to what we expect to see from our customers.
Yeah, we always hear this, the speed of technology, right? That things are changing, and especially in this AI world and all of this, and you're busy running your company. It's really hard to stay up on all of those things. So having a partner that can help inform and guide you, but not be this payroll expense is amazing. So tell me just a couple of things that maybe some pain points somebody might be having to like red flags people should listen to know like, hey, give you a call, right? Because
Mhm.
it's kind of hard for people to know when do I bring an expert in because it's intimidating. Like, oh, I'm going to pay an expert. I don't know about this. Like, bringing you in to help guide them. What are some of those pain points?
It's funny because the bringing an expert in is an interesting thought. Because if you did that for your house, a lot of people is like a lot of people, if they bring a maid in, one of the things they're going to do is they're going to clean their house first because they're like, well, I don't want them to see my mess. And I think the challenge in IT is that people don't know where to start a lot of times because you're not an IT professional. You're whatever it is that you do, your business, that's your strength. That is your wheelhouse that you're in. A technology person is going to come in and help you figure out like where to start. So if you feel stuck is one of the things where you're like, I know I have some processes, I have some procedures, I'm using technology, but I really don't know, am I doing it right? Am I getting the most out of it? Sometimes one of the best things is you're looking at your, like your monthly uh, financials or something like that, and you're like, why am I paying, $1,000 a month for this thing?
Yeah.
And I know it's technology, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know if we're getting the most out of it. Those are
Yeah.
great times to sit down and have a conversation and say, all right, let's look at what you've got. And with that is like, along with those pain points, a lot of times it's like, we're struggling, and I think there's a system or a way that we can improve it, but I really don't know how. Again, that stuck of things like maybe my vendors are asking for information. I don't know how to get that to them. Or my customers are having problems because we're not fulfilling stuff as fast as we would like to. Or we're not able to see what our business is doing. So sometimes it's as simple as I have all these metrics, all these KPIs I know I want out of my business, but I don't know how to get them because I've got 16 different systems and I have to combine data from three or four of them to even start on one of those KPIs. So those are some of the best, like the red flags are the things like I have technology, but I'm not really sure what it does or how well I'm using it. Or I feel like this is something that this is a process that technology should help me with, and I just don't know where to go. And then the final one of those is really like, I'm about to step into something new. I'm going to open a new market or a new location, or I'm about to go through expansion. And we've been okay so far, but we've used people to do it. We've burned hours to get there. And I don't think I can hire enough people or there's enough people in the market to support this growth. So, how do I scale what I have my current employees?
I love that. So, I'm sure you can come in and partner and do an assessment and audit, right? Like as you said, the you can't even don't even know where to start, call you. I love that. So if someone wanted to call you, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way is our website, rb-sns.com. You can go out there. You can see we've got a lot of little tools out there to help you sort of start getting unstuck. We also have an assessment, a very quick assessment that's just an hour invested of your time. We go do some stuff, and then an hour where we present to you and turn it around, usually within a week or two, to give you sort of that, like, let's give you a jump start into where you want to go. You get a roadmap, you get an assessment that you can now take either and do it yourself, or you can work with us to find ways to implement it. You can also, probably the best way outside of the website would be LinkedIn. You can reach me. There's not a lot of Rob Broadheads, but if you look at Rob Broadhead or the RB Consulting page, then definitely reach out to us there and we're happy to talk to you.
That's great. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me today, Rob, because I really do think people are overwhelmed with technology. They're actually spending a lot of money in man hours and stress and not even knowing that they're losing that money. And so bringing somebody in that can help add some clarity, add a roadmap, like you said, amazing partner for folks. And I really appreciated learning more about you and what you do today, Rob.
Well, thank you so much. I've enjoyed being here.